Hi, this is Claire Bowman back again. Now at the end of my student teaching experience, I now only have 5 days left at my placement, which is Duncan Elementary School in Spartanburg District 5 with Anna Robinson in her 3rd grade classroom. It's really bittersweet to say only 5 days left because while I'm so excited to move on to graduation and to have my own classroom in the fall, it's very sad to be leaving such a great group of students and a wonderful school that I've been able to build a community at. And I'm really just thankful for the experience that I've had. The purpose of this video is just to share with you a little bit about what I've learned and how I've grown throughout student teaching. And I've had a couple of really great questions given to me. That way this conversation is a little bit more guided, because if I was allowed to just talk about student teaching, I think I could go on for a very long time. But thankfully I've got some really great topics to discuss. The first one that I'm going to start off with is professional development. Concerning different seminars or webinars that I went to and attended, which one was the most significant to me, and I chose a math PD that was really informative and very beneficial because of the way that it was structured. So this PD was held at our school after school with all of the grade levels concerning math. And so what we did was we started off in grade level groups and we were all given a poster. And on this poster we were told to write down all the things that we wish that our kids knew when they came to our grade. So first I sat with the 3rd grade teachers as we discussed what was important for kids to know when they came into 3rd grade, what they didn't know that we feel like they should, why that might be. And that was a really good discussion, but it was really beneficial what happened next when we moved into the second portion of the meeting, which was to go into vertical groups, meaning that there was a teacher from each grade level in one group, and these groups then traveled around to all of the different posters for the different grade levels, and we all had a copy of the standard. So what happened next is that we got to sit down and talk about, well, why might these gaps be occurring? What can we do? What is really grade level appropriate for our kids? And that was really, really beneficial for me to hear, because it helped me to get a broader spectrum and to be able to really see the progression of math, which we also watched a really great video at the end of the seminar that laid out the progression of elementary math, which was really, really cool. It was very visual, so that was helpful for me as a visual learner. But this is a seminar that I took a lot of notes at and that I'll remember as I go into a 2nd grade teaching job in the fall, so I'm super excited about that. But that concludes the portion of this video on professional development. The next portion is on the resources that I used when it came to motivating and communicating with students. I would say the greatest resource for me was definitely my cooperating teacher, Miss Robinson. She's great for a lot of reasons, but one of the most significant is her relationship that she has with her children. She is very relational and very personal with the kids, and it's been such a joy to see just how they love her and she loves them, and how she can read them when they come in the room, and it's really just great to see her care for her kids and invest in them, and when they come in and they don't seem motivated, to try and figure out why that's not. So she was a huge resource for me. Another resource that I relied on was parents. I got to sit in on several parent-teacher meetings, and those were really beneficial for me because they helped me to see just how important it is to have that good relationship between the parent and the teacher. And there are a lot of parents who may not be so involved, but thankfully our students had some really, really great parents that were willing to figure out what they needed to do to help their child pick up the slack that might be happening in the classroom. And so that was really, really great to see. And the last resource that I chose was the students themselves. Kind of going back to what I said earlier about Miss Robinson, was that she would communicate with the kids and she would figure out, well, what might be going on. And so rather than just making assumptions, she would ask the child themselves. And I think that's something that I really learned from her, because these kids are old enough to tell you what they need. And that was something that I got to experience with several of the students, just being able to talk to them and be personal with them and work together with them to find out strategies to help them move on and to succeed. So that was definitely a good lesson to learn, is that a student has a right to decide what they need in the classroom and what's going to help them, and giving them that responsibility and creating that relationship was really, really awesome to see and to experience. And that concludes the portion on that. So my next one is going to be on relationships with coworkers. This one was really, really fun. I enjoyed seeing the difference between when I first came to school and I would walk down the hallway and I would see another teacher and they might look at me and maybe smile. And to see that change, that shift when it got to the end of the year and I'm walking by and they stop and ask me about my day, or they ask me, do I need anything? What's going on? How's it going? And it was really great to build those relationships, especially with cooperating teachers who now I've been able to share resources with, and they've been able to share resources with me and impart some wisdom, so that was really helpful. And it was just really sweet to make some new friends and to feel like an actual coworker and not just that student teacher off in the corner. So the community at Duncan has really been so significant to me and so wonderful. Not just the cooperating teachers and fellow teachers, but just anybody who worked in the building. I became good friends with the librarian and one of the custodians, Miss Ann, who helped me when I got locked out of school one day because I didn't have a key. Getting to see just how much better it is to go through your day when you know people and you can have a conversation with people. It was really neat, to walk through the library to make copies and stop and talk to Miss Foster or ask Miss Ann how she was doing in the morning and just have those little conversations that just brighten your day. This experience showed me the importance of community within the school because it takes teamwork to teach children. And Duncan is definitely a place where teamwork takes place, and that was really special to be a part of. And I could talk a lot about the community, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next portion, the next question, which deals with research. And one of the significant books that was shared with me by my cooperating teacher is called Explicit Direct Instruction. I have not read the entire book, but I did read some really great stuff in here about questioning and figuring out as a formative assessment how your students are doing. And one of the things that I learned from this was that when you're doing assessments, a lot of times we get caught up in having a paper assessment, but it can be as simple as whiteboards where you can see answers really quick, or just a conversation. And so this had some strategies included in it, but one of the main things that I took was that it suggests if you have 3 students, 3 or more that don't understand, then you need to go ahead and reteach to the entire class. And so that was a good, really clear instruction that it gave that was helpful to me, and I found that I would be using that strategy and I would kind of keep track in my mind, okay, who do I feel like is getting it, who not, and that allowed me to have an idea of when I should reteach and when I should evaluate myself and what I've been doing. So that was also very helpful. As far as teaching and curriculum, support documents are one of my go-tos, that's for sure. The state ones are really, really great, especially in history where there's so much that you can teach kids. It helps to limit down and tell you exactly what they need to know, and being able to look and see what they've learned in the previous grade versus what they're going to learn in the following grade is also really helpful to keep in mind, and support documents allow me to see that information pretty easily, so I really appreciated using those. And just other documents that were available to us through the school. We all had Schoology accounts where we could log on and see all of the math resources that the district had put out. They would have units, and so that was really good for me to go and get an idea for their framework and pull think sheets and different strategies and things like that was definitely helpful, and I appreciate Miss Robinson sharing those things with me. A lot of resources went into helping me with my student teaching, but those are some of the most significant ones, which is going to bring me to my last question, which was about the non-instructional duties of a teacher and what surprised me. I learned a lot about some of the funky things that I didn't think I would do, like performing in a talent show. I got to do a dance with all the 3rd grade teachers, which was really cool, and something that I didn't expect, but I'm so happy that I did. And overall, teamwork. I know I mentioned that earlier. Teamwork is so important, and so I just got to see how everybody works together to make the school day flow better. And I think the non-instructional duties, it should be about teamwork. What can I do to contribute to make the school run smoother? And I saw a lot of teachers who did that and did that well, and that's something that I want to take with me into my next experience. But overall, this has been a great time, and I'm running out of my time limits, and again, I could keep talking for a very long time, but overall, student teaching has been great, and I'm really thankful for it.